little toad friends out here too. One slug. I've got to remember, sometimes they live right where the row cover meets the soil. I was walking back to the house. There's another toad in the road. I thought the slugs might like this weather, so I'm checking my lettuce again. Slug captured. Yay. Oh my gosh. So I'm also noticing that the water is pooling on top of this heavier Agribon row cover. I'm gonna check over this lighter weight stuff and see if the water is pooling there too. So this plant was completely chewed off, so I'm gonna need to replace him next week. This one's fine. This one's okay. These are the replacements from last week. Okay, keep on checking. Got another one underneath my slug trap here. It's gobbling these guys I had to replace. Yay, dudes. I've got another one. This is next to the lettuce here that I had to replace. Checking in the kale beds, I'm not really seeing anything. The micro clover that I planted is coming up here in these two beds. So that's lettuce, kale, and let's look at the chard. Nothing in the chard bed. Micro clover is not coming up in here yet because I just recently seeded it. So I did check this stick right here, and I did find some little tiny slugs. I pulled those out already. But I don't know. It could be what's eating these, but it could be that they were on the log that I stuck in here. So I don't know. And I was noticing that this row cover does let the water through a lot better than, this is a lighter weight than this heavier new stuff that I got. I imagine once these all get soggy enough, they'll start the water will start coming through, but that is troublesome. Okay, and over on this side, not last week, but the week before, I seeded 2 rows of spinach, 3 rows of mizuna. I'm not seeing anything from the mizuna yet, but the spinach is coming up nicely. And then these 2 beds over here, not last week, but the week before, I seeded clover, and that's coming up. And in this bed, I also seeded sugar snap peas, and I'm not seeing those yet. I just got logs at all these bed ends here. I should have done this when I first planted out the bok choy, but I just didn't get to it. So you can see these guys are getting hammered. So I'll see if I can't check and catch some slugs later on. I got it all done just as the drizzles turned to showers. There's a few rogue slugs out there. I see damage and I couldn't find the slug, so I'll keep checking, but I'm feeling positive that I made a tiny dent in my slug issue. Yay. Checking in the lettuce bed again this morning. Bad news, folks. Lettuce cut at the base. Cranefly larvae. I don't know how much of this is in there. Oh, dudes. Another one hit. When the leaves are all intact like that, and they just all fall off, that means it's been clipped right at the base. And that means cranefly larvae. There it is. 2 tiny slugs underneath this slug trap where I had to replace the lettuce. I didn't get these yesterday, so those are some of the rogue slugs, little tiny things, just eating holes in the lettuce. A big old slug right here. He's been gnawing on the leaves around here. So yeah, yesterday I was so excited because I was capturing those little slugs in my wood traps. But now seeing the cranefly larvae, that is a whole nother beast because they will just go for the stem and the plant is done. Whereas usually with the slugs, you'll see them eating the leaves. You'll know that they're there. You can capture them before they kill the plant. So I don't know if that bed is full of cranefly larvae or if there's just a couple in there. But you know, in past years, I've had just so much lettuce decimated by the cranefly larvae. So I'm gonna have to check over here in the kale beds and the chard bed and see what's going on there. Water is still pooling on this row cover. This lighter weight row cover is not pooling water. This is the heavier Agribon. I mean, the soil is kind of moist, but I think under this lighter Agribon, I don't know if there's a big difference, maybe. So this bok choy got hit. I moved this piece of wood closer. I didn't see anything underneath it. But over here, where the bok choy was gone yesterday, I caught a slug under this trap. Feeling the difference between, this is heavy Agribon laid flat, and the soil is quite moist actually. Pretty similar to this bed, which has been out in the weather. Yeah, exactly the same. So maybe it's just the stuff kind of running off and just a little bit getting through. I don't know. This insect netting, I mean, you can see some, you know, a little bit of whatever you call it, pooling on the top of this too. But, I mean, the soil's really moist underneath. There's my deer buddy out here on the road, chomping on the grass. My slug got to go for an airplane ride out to the ditch. I went through all the lettuce and I kind of just pulled the, you know, seaweed and debris and stuff away from the stem so I can just kind of come out and just check around them, maybe in a few hours. Look who came out to help me. My little toad friend. I think this is another toad. I think this is one here, and I think that one's another one over there. Yes. There's two of them out here. Oh, they're my little buddies. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He looks like a leaf. But he's not. He's a little toad friend. Hi, toad friends. I just went through the lettuce bed. So this time I just went through and quickly kind of put my fingers around the stem just to see, you know, usually those cranefly larvae will just kind of move and you can kind of see them. I didn't see anything. I got like a micro slug and a tiny slug, but that was it. Okay, yes, did I say the rain is coming down a lot heavier and steadier, so maybe the soil under the row cover will finally get wet or wetter, right? Okay, good night, or good day, whatever. I did find only one section here where there was a partially eaten lettuce last night and it was completely cut off this morning. I dug around, I couldn't find anything. It's probably cranefly larvae, so I might have a rogue in here. Mostly everything looks pretty good in these two kale beds. I've just got a couple of problems in my collard greens here. I was noticing, you know, in these two plants that there were broken leaves, and I found two cranefly larvae and then one under another. So there might be a few more under here, but I've got a little stick marking each of these to kind of watch. But otherwise they were fine there. Okay, for reference, lettuce bed, two kale, collard green, mustard beds. This is the chard bed, and did see a little bit of slug damage around here somewhere. This is the old slug damaged fellow. Oh, this guy right here. So I put a little piece of wood there. The only other thing I'm seeing was crane fly larvae on one of my plants over here. I think he might pull through. I found the larva, so I got him out of there. I'm up on this pile of soil here, looking down, and just wanted to explain. So last year, these 3 beds were in garlic. This is where the kale and the chard are. These 3 beds were in carrots. This is where the lettuce is going. This is where the lettuce is planted. Now, this bed right here was in carrots all through the winter. And I just pulled them out in the spring. And this bed, the birds were going really crazy, just pecking and scratching through this bed, especially. That they were really focused on this bed. So that's kind of the reality of the beds. Now, you would think that I would plant my lettuce after garlic because the crane fly larva doesn't like garlic, and so maybe less likely that garlic would be in these beds. The problem was before the garlic, the year before that, this was in lettuce, and that was the year that I had a horrible, horrible hit by the crane fly larva. So I thought I better not plant them there just in case there's still crane fly larvae in those beds. That's kind of what I was thinking. But, you know, in the carrots, you're going to get slugs especially. They're going to hang out there still. So there's the danger, oh no, too many slugs. But, you know, I kind of had limited options in my limited size garden. And this heavier Agribon, it, yeah, besides not letting maybe enough water in, it also just really almost gets too hot. When the sun comes out here, you know, we go from, oh, it's been like in the 40s. Then it just gets way too hot. I've seen burnt leaves on the plants underneath the heavier stuff. And then it doesn't let as much light through either. And I don't need that much more warmth. My little green toad is out here hunting with me again tonight. Hello, little fellow. Hi, little buddy. So this is interesting. This is a crane fly larva hiding underneath one of my slug logs. So I don't know, does that mean that they're kind of, you know, still sleeping right now and they come out later, maybe early morning? Hopefully the other beds are okay. I'll check them in the morning. I transplanted from my extra lettuce, you know, some of the ones that had been pretty damaged before, some of the lettuces, you know. The kale beds were fine. Checking through the chard, I saw this wilty plant and found a crane fly larva. Okay, so I replaced that chard, marked it with a stick, and I've got this other one here that had been nibbled on, so I replaced him, marked him with a stick. Everything else was fine. Down here at the clover and pea patch, I haven't found the culprit that's caused the bok choy to get nibbled down like that. But I am seeing some peas starting to come up in the center here. I already see a slug on my bok choy. Where's my little slug stick? This will work. I'll check the kale and the chard later today. After I harvest spinach, orach, mizuna. I got it all, dudes. Mizuna. I left enough orach, some little guys that were growing underneath, and hopefully that'll give me some more next week. Spinach is all gone. I got everything up at the fridge, and here's my spinach. checking my kale and chard beds after checking the lettuce this morning. But I forgot, you know, I need to check this bed at the far end. So this is the original seeding of baby chard. And you can see this second seeding coming up. Haven't seen any more of those little tiny birds though, like the fox sparrows. Haven't seen the white crowned or golden crowned sparrows for a while, so maybe they're gone. I moved the basil down to the greenhouse. I moved the lettuce up here because it has been so cold and it's growing so slowly. It could use some warmth. And my chives are finally starting to come up. So pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna pull some bok choy from this bed. I need this lettuce and spinach for next week. Okay, so I've got 22. One is kind of got a hole in it, so I'm gonna eat it. And then 2 of them are a little bit small, so I'm gonna double them up. Okay dudes, I sold everything except for 2 mizuna bunches, which is awesome. I switched the row cover on these 3 beds, lettuce, kale, to the ProtekNet insect netting. I went ahead and left the lightweight Agribon on this chard bed. I also flattened the profile of these hoops. Make them a little bit more square, maybe a little more water can come through. I would like to have left the Agribon on a little bit longer because I don't know if I already said, but last year when I accidentally left the Agribon on the kale longer, they just grew so much better having that extra warmth. And it's just been cold the last couple of weeks. And, but I don't think that heavier stuff is going to let enough water through. And we're gonna get some rain maybe the next couple days a little bit, and I just like it to go through. I think the lighter weight Agribon's probably fine, so we'll give the chard a little more warmth. But yeah, I did order some more row cover. I will talk about that in a future video. I'm gonna focus on row cover. I don't know if once we get some more moisture, some more rain, if I'm gonna see like kind of more of a flush of slugs and cranefly larvae. But live and learn, we'll find out. I went through the beds again just now. Found like 3 little tiny slugs underneath my wood traps. So yeah, we'll see. I've got a lot of catching up to do next week. Talk to you guys then. There's Mama Deer. Sitting in the potato patch.